Mario?
Hmm?
Luigi?
Huh?
You guys ready?
Oh yeah. Okie dokie.
Awesome. Let's do this! Let's freaking go! What happens when you combine my personal favorite game genre with the face of video gaming himself? You make, well, first you make a puppet with the Jesus complex, but then you make the Mario and Luigi series, baby! Yes, this series has had some ups and downs, but that's not gonna take away my love for the 5 of these games. I'm gonna take a look at all of these absolute juggernauts non-stop. That means I'm gonna take a look at Superstar Saga, Partners in Time, Bowser's Inside Story, Dream Team, and finally Paper Jam. And when this video releases, I'm more than sure the newest game in the series, Mario and Luigi Brothership, will be released, so you bet your ass I'm gonna take a look at that too. It's gonna be one hell of a ride, and y'all are gonna join me. Hopefully. Please don't go. I really spent a lot of time on these. Well, if you do choose to stay, then I don't have to come into your walls. But more importantly, it all starts today, where I take a look at the start of it all. One of the OG granddaddies of Mario RPGs, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Now then, ready your hammers, stock up on bros points, turn that music up to 11, and let's, go! Ah yes, the turn-based RPG, a genre we're all familiar with, Nintendo especially. Hell, their largest selling IP is a turn-based RPG, with that being Pokemon. So it only makes sense for Mr. Jumpman himself to throw his hat into the ring. 3 separate times. And then a 4th time later on. I still don't know how this exists. Yeah, in case you didn't know, before Superstar Saga, there were 2 other RPGs with Mario, Super Mario RPG, Legend of the 7 Stars, and Paper Mario 64. The creation of Superstar Saga is quite interesting when you really take a look into it. It was developed by game company Alpha Dream, who made games like Tomato Adventure, which is Japan exclusive, multiple Hamtaro games, and Koto Battle Tengai no Murabaito. Wonderworld are these? Who the hell are you people? And how many people will be in the comments telling me to SD myself for not knowing them? This company was the one that actually helped with all the other Mario and Luigi games I'll talk about later on, except for Brothership. This is due to the fact that after Bowser's Inside Story DX, Alpha Dream ended up filing for bankruptcy. Something interesting I found out was that Superstar Saga was directed by the co-director of Legend of the 7 Stars, Yoshihiko Maekawa. For the producers, we obviously have Shigeru Miyamoto and Satoru Iwata, as well as Tetsuo Mizuno. Miyamoto is well known as the one that literally created the Mario franchise, and Iwata is straight up the president of Nintendo. I didn't know much about Tetsuo until now, but he actually helped out with the other Mario and Luigi games, the few other games Alpha Dream made, and some other games like Bushido Blade 2, Front Mission First, Xenogears, and get this, Final Fantasy VII. People say Mario can't count as an anime character. Ha! You fools! Mario has more anime in his blood than Goku himself! Back on track with Superstar Saga, it was first revealed at E3 2003 under the name Mario and Luigi. Wow, that sure stuck, huh? Superstar Saga was later released to the public on November 17th, 2003, and immediately got a whole bunch of love and praise. Countless review sites instantly slapped high ratings on it, it was everywhere and there was no escape. So much actually that GameSpot, remember them, dubbed it as Best Game Boy Advance Game of November 2003, which may not seem like much, but this game was fighting against Final Fantasy Tactics Advance and Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. You know, 3 other highly rated and regarded games? Heck, it ended up selling well over 2.15 million copies. But, of course, I can't talk about the creation of the original without mentioning its 3DS remake, Superstar Saga DX, and Bowser's Minions. Announced at E3 2017, reminder that E3 2017 was 3 months after the Switch was released, it was made to make it more accessible for those who weren't able to experience the original GBA version by giving it updated graphics, remastering some old soundtracks, and various quality of life improvements that I'll touch on later. You know good old Nintendo, only remaking a handful of games and slapping everyone who says otherwise with cease and desists. It was soon released on October 6th of 2017, getting some mixed, mostly positive reviews. Is there a reason for this though? Well, yes. a pretty obvious one actually. The main reason Superstar Saga DX didn't do as good as the original was mostly because it was released when the Switch was starting to kick into gear. There's no real reason to release a game for a console that had come out beforehand. Despite that though, Superstar Saga DX still did fairly okay, selling 510,000 copies. Yes, the number is fairly low, but remember what I said beforehand, it kinda makes sense. Still, Superstar Saga was the start of Mario and Luigi and has remained as one of the best Mario RPGs of all time. And with all the praise it still gets today, I think that shows that there will always be love for the beginning of something great. I have some good news, everyone. This time the plot doesn't involve Peach being kidnapped. Yippee! Thank Miyamoto. Instead, a resident of the Bean Kingdom, Cackletta, along with her assistant Fawful, visit the Mushroom Kingdom. Okay, real quick, can we seriously just discuss the Mushroom World in general? There's always some new kingdom every 2 weeks, and we never hear from them again. Like, come on. We need some consistency! A pleasant visit turns sour, however, when it turns out Cackletta only came to the Mushroom Kingdom to steal Peach's voice. It's the only Little Mermaid, and like, do we count this as her getting kidnapped? Gray area. After Toad experiences a sight that makes him blush like a tomato, now we know which way Toads swing, eh? Mario and Luigi head to Peach's castle to see Bowser, who was gonna kidnap her, until he finds out that without her voice, she now speaks in bombs. Who directed this? Michael Bay? But it's because of this that Bowser ends up teaming with Mario to go to the Bean Kingdom and get Peach's voice back. Oh, by the way, Luigi didn't want to be a part of this at all, so he was kind of just forced to come along with. Poor guy. Not even 10 minutes pass by, Fawful attacks the ship, causing it to crash into the Bean Kingdom, Bowser gets fired out of a cannon, and now Mario and Luigi are in a whole new world. After a few boss fights and meeting some dazzling duos along the way, the bros run into Prince Peaslee, who tells them that they should go into the Bean Castle and talk to Her Majesty, Queen Bean. By the way, get used to me saying Bean a lot in this segment. When we get to the castle, however, it appears the village has already been attacked by Cackletta and Fawful, putting everyone on high alert. I mean, hey, at least the Bean Kingdom has actual guards, unlike the Mushroom Kingdom. Seriously, why in the name of Shigeru Miyamoto is she not prepared for this at this point? Dumb blonde experiences this every week. Anyways, question is though, why did Cackletta steal Peach's voice and attack the Bean Kingdom? Well, it was because she desired the power of the Bean Star, protector of the Bean Kingdom, and an item that can grant all desires. It's this game's magical MacGuffin in the same vein as the Star Rod, the Wonder Flower, the Grand Star, and I guess your hat's sister. It's because of this power it was cast into a deep sleep, one that can only be awakened via a, quote, voice of great beauty and of a pure and noble soul. Ooh, so that's why she wanted Peach's voice. Yeah, sure, totally makes sense. Peach's voice as opposed to like Rosalina's or something. But I guess when you live in the Mushroom Kingdom, being good enough is the Mona Lisa compared to... A few hijinks happen, like beating up a hulked out Queen Bee, running into Popple and Bowser, Rookie, fighting Living Soda? Yeah, things get weird. By the way, this isn't Bowser. This is technically a new character, Rookie, Bowser with amnesia, and who Popple decides to slap a mask on and call his underling. I mean, sure, if anyone's gonna steal Mr. L's shtick before he even becomes Mr. L, it might as well be Bowser, as long as he doesn't get into Shadow territory. The bros soon find Cackletta in Woohoo University, more impeccable names in this universe, mourning over the fact that her plan to use Peach's voice in robots to wake the Beanstar had failed. Kinda. We later find out that the voice Cackletta stole wasn't actually Peach's, but Birdo's? Who was made to look like Peach, so when Cackletta stole Peach's voice, she actually stole Birdo's, who caused the Beanstar to get all pissy? What? Huh? You know what, I'm not gonna question it. Don't question it, it's Mario. She and Fawful are swiftly dealt with. We encounter Popple and Rookie yet again. Bowser remembers who he is. Right before the Beanstar gets angry, it blows up and scatters into 4 pieces cause, you know, the Master Emerald wasn't enough. After the explosion, however, we soon see Fawful inject Cackleta's soul into Bowser, creating what was basically Bowsette before Bowsette, Bowletta. This is both one of the best and one of the most weird incarnations we've ever gotten of Bowser, and I swear it's not because of the inclusion of Bowser with honkers. Look guys, if you were expecting a shred of normalcy in this, welcome to the Mario franchise. Leave your common sense at the door. Mario and Luigi now set forth to collect the 4 shards of the Beanstar. Some more hijinks and close calls happen along the way until they finally make it to her floating castle above the clouds. You would think that after taking care of the Koopalings, yeah, they're here, remember them, Fawful, and Bowletta herself, things will be finished, right?
Wrong!
One of Lemmy's bombs waltzes in, blows up on us, and Bowletta proceeds to use the mighty power of Suck.
Suck! Suck! Suck!
Guess this is Bowser's inside story before Bowser's inside story, huh? As our heroes wake up, they're faced with what's been possessing Bowser this entire time. A manifestation of Cackleta's hatred and resentment. Cackleta's soul. The setting is destructive. Her appearance, terrifying. All this is happening while the bros are at 1 HP? Well, if this didn't put the fear of God into you, I don't know what will. With a final beating, Cackleta is taken down, the Beanstar is reformed, and peace is brought to the Bean Kingdom, ending Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. As far as Mario plots go, honestly, it's better than most. Yes, Peach does end up being kidnapped again in the middle of the story, but even then, we rescue her soon enough via comedic hijinks. Which, by the way, I need to mention. While this may be the first game in the series, the dialogue is still comedy gold. Not a single line spoken should be taken too seriously, especially from Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Papa with his constant mob boss-like lines always kill me, and his shit gets better as you play more. And Fawful's everything carries majority of the dialogue. His constant food analogies, his flamboyant and off-kilter mannerisms, and do I even have to mention his final form? Everything that is said in Superstar Saga is near comedy genius, and honestly, even I wish I could be as funny as those literal walking, talking beans. The story is just really good. You know, just some mild terrorism, some kidnapping, removing one's ability to speak, this, that, and the third. You know, the usual. It's not a terrible story by any means, since the new characters help a lot to progress, the new location gives us a breath of fresh air from the usual, and the new villain makes you wonder constantly what's gonna happen next. You may have noticed I emphasize the word new a lot, and this is mostly because, as we've seen with the newer Mario RPGs, excluding you, there's no new characters from Mario & Co. to bounce off of, and due to this, it causes the story to be pretty dull in comparison. So it feels good to come back to this gem and see what it was like to experience such a thing as, well, uniqueness. Every line of dialogue was fun to read, the interactions the characters had with each on screen made me legit laugh, and it just felt really good to go through a Mario RPG plot that felt like there was time and effort put into it. Only one other game in the series triumphs over Superstar Saga's story, but I personally think it's one of the much better Mario RPG stories, especially for the first in its series. Oh, and before I forget, yes, I know about Bowser's minions, but it's not really worth talking about too much. The only thing of note is that we see that Fawful was actually planning on overthrowing Cackleta in the sidelines. Not just that, but the Fawful bots you see in Bowser's inside story also appear here, further alluding to Fawful's plot to overthrow his master. Besides that though, don't expect too much from the story. It's alright at best and mediocre at worst. And this isn't the first time I'll have to look at something like this. Throughout most of your adventure within the Bean Kingdom, you're in control of, oh, who do you think? Jak and Daxter? Please, it'll be ages before those guys crawl out of Sony's cellar. Nah, I'm talking about the wonderful Italian stereotypes themselves, Mario and Luigi, through and through. D-pad is basic movement and you use the A and B buttons to have them jump, A being for Mario and B being for Luigi. While this may seem simple at first, you'll encounter multiple red and green duos who actually teach the bros more modes of exploration and ways to attack in battle. ranging from spinning around, slamming Luigi into the dirt, turning Mario into a damn pancake, literally setting Luigi's ass on fire, and even having Mario experience what it's like getting struck by a stab thunderbolt. Like, I know brothers fight, but sweet retired Reggie sounds more like you guys are trying to kill each other. These exploration mechanics are also used to solve various puzzles around the Bean Kingdom as well. Sometimes you'll have to use spin to get to the other platform, have Mario get smold, or Luigi go underground to reach certain buttons, and the elemental hands, well, they're neat additions, but the puzzles regarding them aren't really anything to write home about. Granted, it did give us the bros saying fire and thunder, which always makes me so happy to hear. God, I miss you so much, Charles Martinet. And also, screw you, Nintendo, for not letting Luigi keep the thunder hand outside these games. Speaking of Luigi, and back to him being able to go underground, sometimes you'll pass these X-shaped marks on the ground, and when Luigi resurfaces, you'll be rewarded with beans. Lots and lots of beans. God fucking, I thought I was done talking about beans! Anyways, these beans can actually be used to make certain blends that'll boost a specific stat in Professor Egad's cafe. Wait, hold on, bro has a cafe? Was he busy trying to get this business going while Luigi was off doing his spring ghost cleaning? These blends help a lot since even the smallest increase in stats could mean life or death. Oh yeah, each bro has 6 stats: HP, BP, POW, Def, Speed, and Stash. HP, POW, Def, and Speed should be self-explanatory. BP, they really should call this pasta power, increases the amount of bros points a bro has to use bros moves. Take a shot with every usage of bro. And Stash is a pretty funny stat. See, Stash makes it so critical or lucky hits are easier to land, and they also give discounts on items and stores. It's a really good casual stat, but I wouldn't really suggest leveling it up all too much unless you hate yourself. Could you imagine it though? Every time you level it up, their mustaches actually get bigger? What would that look like at the end of the game?
Mario! Wah!
No.
Reach through their mustache.
You know what? On second thought, never mind. Speaking of which, every time a bro levels up, you'll be able to slap an extra point into whatever stat of your choosing. This right here is what some call the stat roulette. These points could range from 1 to 3 to even 5 if you're lucky enough. And you may be wondering how you level up. Well, if you ever played an RPG before, you know it's by becoming a literal death machine. Let the massacre begin! I mean by completing turn-based battles. The battle system in Mario and Luigi games more or less stay the same. You have 3 main forms of attacking: jumping on enemies, hitting them with your hammer, and the special and flashy bros moves. In addition, you're able to deal more damage by pressing the corresponding button for the bro attacking at the right time, which is very akin to the RPGs beforehand, Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario. Most enemies you fight against within the Bean Kingdom are weak to certain attacks, like most flying enemies take extra damage from jumping attacks. Of course, the main thing that separates Mario and Luigi from the other RPGs, besides the inclusion of Green Stash himself, because Paper Mario hates him, are the bros moves you learn throughout the game. These moves cost the aforementioned BP/bros points, and are much stronger moves that have you time both button inputs for maximum damage. It's actually kind of ridiculous just how much damage you can accomplish with these. Like, look at this. They literally just chucked a freaking sun. Hear that, Chowder fans? They took the sun. You know, I'm starting to see why everyone thinks Mario and Luigi can beat Sephiroth. There's also items you can use to restore your HP, BP, and some other fun stuff like cleansing negative statuses, making you and even increasing your attack, but also increasing your weight in the process, kind of like a double-edged sword. On your journey, you'll battle against strong boss enemies, ranging from a newly hatched piranha plant, because kicking newborns is funny, the drugged-up queen of the kingdom herself, these things, and of course, the infamous Cacletta Soul. Yeah, while the gameplay for this game is very simple, someone at Nintendo or Alpha Dream had the bright idea of giving the final boss a speed stat of about 120, meaning that if you aren't fast enough or can perfectly dodge her attacks from the start, you'll not only die, but also be forced to do the entire Bowletta fight all over again. What an ungodly difficulty is this? Yes, in Superstar Saga DX, they did decrease her speed, so now if you have a speed stat of around 80, you should be more than fine. But that's not going to excuse the difficulty spike. Like, come on guys, 1 HP at the start? 1? This is not freaking Geometry Dash! I know this is the final boss of a turn-based RPG, but gosh, I think you guys had a bit too much fun, don't you think? I guess another gripe I have would be that some of the puzzles and progression do show signs of first game syndrome. Sometimes they take too long, failing them and having to start all over again, and do I really have to bring this up? This right here is a Princess Peach escort mission. You have to make sure Peach is visible on your screen and also defeat any enemies around her while crossing the desert. If she walks away for even a little bit or an enemy touches her, you'll have to go through a warp pipe to save her. Like, God, you can fight, stupid! Does Nintendo just forget she has emotion powers in Super Princess Peach? Or do they just not care? Okay, you have a point, but still, thankfully the enemies don't respawn once you defeat them in the overworld, but you can understand why this would get on some people's nerves, right? Oh, another thing I wanted to mention is that there are these little mini games too. Remember the mission where you had to make different shirt designs so you can get a piece of the bean star? There's actually around 28 of them, and if you get all of them, our hell will give you, their pants. Bro, I'm not into this. Take it back. No, wait, this item is honestly pretty good. I'll keep it. Oh yeah, there's also that one minigame where Gino pops up to explain the rules, and he was never seen in the remake and only appeared in Smash as the Mii costume until the somewhat recent Super Mario RPG remake. Please come back home, Gino. We miss you. Overall, Superstar Saga's gameplay to this day is still really solid. Again, it does show its age sometimes, even in the remake, but the good thing about the remake is that any tutorials you don't want to learn can always be looked at in the guide section in the main menu, which is really good quality of life. This was the start of a gameplay pattern that every other entry would follow, and for that, I gotta tip my hat to this game. Oh, yeah, Bowser's Minions. I keep forgetting about this. Alright, lightning round. It's sort of a team formation playstyle where you have to form an army of minions to attack your opponents with. Some minions have like these leader skills that help them out in battle and just, I don't know, it's not really good, okay? It's kind of like Pikmin, but less enjoyable. Hell, even the boss fights aren't anything to write home about. It's fine, but really, it's just nothing. And if anyone out there played this mode and thinks it holds some sort of merit, please contact me. I'm worried about you. So for this segment, I'm going to be going between the original and the remake a lot because, well, I kind of feel like it's necessary. Hey, if you were doing a review on a game that had a remake of it, you'd do the same. Like, come on, who'd go ahead and make a whole 20-ish minute video talking about a remake of a game they just talked about? Preposterous if you ask me. Anyways, let's start off with the visuals, cause man, for the GBA, I still think this game holds up. The game runs at a smooth 60 FPS for both the OG and DX. Now, I'm not a frame rate junkie or anything, but gosh does this game run smoothly. Besides performance, this new world overall is just one hell of a sight. Toshizo Morikawa, the artist for both Superstar Saga and DX, is the one who helped a lot to make this happen, though there was also designer Hiroyuki Kubuta, who ended up lending a hand in 3 other games in the series. Each level had so much charm and personality to them that it really did feel like we were in a foreign land. Honestly, with how wacky these places can be, I'm half expecting to pass by an outhouse and the themes may be similar to previous Mario levels, but it's all about presentation. Because let's be honest, when was the last time you played a game where one of the levels starts off in a lush jungle, only to then go inside a soda making factory where you have to fight literal, living soda? Go ahead, I'll wait. A personal favorite location of mine has to be Woohoo University. One of the enemies here is actually the viruses from Dr. Mario, and you could either beat them normally or have them match each other's color to Oko them. That's so freaking clever, I love it! It also somehow canonized Dr. Mario, which I just find funny. Mario has a doctor's degree and is prescribing high fives. One of my favorite things about the world, however, is that almost every location is named after a synonym for laugh. Like, look, Chucklehuck Woods, Tee Valley, Guahar Lagoon, Wafaha Ruins. Come on, you gotta admit that's pretty clever. Hell, even the villain's name is another word for laugh. Leda, Cackle. You thought you could sneak that one under me, eh, Nintendo? Speaking of characters, however, I freaking love the designs for all of them here. Ranging from Queen Bee and her chunky self, the myriad of duos that help out the bros throughout their journey, the enemies you fight along the way, the master thief himself Popple, and we cannot forget about the one who had the biggest glow up from this game onward, Fawful. Gosh, just all of these designs are so unique. Even the bros themselves look great. Like, I love how this game looks so much. But where this game may look great, the music sounds absolutely fantastic. Right out the gate, the composer for Superstar Saga is none other than the RPG master songstress herself, Yoko Shimomura. If you don't know who this absolute gift from gaming Jesus is, let me quickly educate you. Shimomura worked on Codename Viper, Street Fighter 2, Live Alive, Gargoyle's Quest, Front Mission, Super Mario RPG, Heroes of Mana, Xenoblade Chronicles, Rise of Mana, Exerta, Chronos Ring, Banishment Day, The Alchemist Code, Black Knight and White Devil, Final Fantasy 15, Streets of Rage 4, Sin Chronicle, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. And if all that still hasn't jogged your memory, she's also the one who, to this day, composed every single bit of music for this pretty small and insignificant JRPG, just a tiny one called, Kingdom Hearts! Every bit of music you're listening to from start to finish was composed by her. From the main title theme itself to the feel-good music of Welcome to the Bean Bean Kingdom, the regal feel you're assaulted with inside the Bean Bean Castle, to the toe-tapping beat of Tee Valley, every single note that's played always gets me feeling some sort of emotion, and I love it. Oh, and trust me, don't think I forgot about the absolute banger simply titled, Come On! Freaking hell, I love this music so much! Name a single person who doesn't like this theme. Please, I'll wait. I honestly don't like it that much. Anyone else want to say anything? And yes, this amazing music also transfers to the remake. Shimomura is still front and center, and all the remastered themes are all oh so solid. And I might as well bring up Bowser's Minions as well. The levels don't do anything insane to make it feel different from what we already went through during the base adventure, and enemies are basic as all hell. It's just the same ones you fought in base Superstar Saga. I guess one thing I could give props to would be the music. Some of them are pretty jolly tunes, and I especially enjoy the boss theme a lot. There's really not a lot for me to say. Again, I'm very concerned for the 0.01% of people who genuinely think this game mode is quote-unquote good. Even so, I still love everything this game has to offer in terms of visuals, level design, and especially the music. The new world and aesthetic is appealing to the eyes, the character designs are unlike anything we've seen before, and I cannot stress this enough. The music is just such a damn bop. I have the entire OST saved and listened to it on occasion. It's that good. It was clear Nintendo wanted to try their best with their first entry, and it shows. Is this the best looking one in the series? That could be up for debate, but don't take that in a bad way. If anything, that just means that even though this may be the first in a long line, it still holds up all these years later. And just like that, our first adventure comes to a close. You know, a lot of people say that in order to do something great, you have to be able to take the first step in doing so. Nintendo had already made 2 other Mario RPGs in the past that both did amazingly well, so a third one didn't sound too bad, but they had to try something new. And who would have thought that just by tossing in Luigi, they would have made one of the best first adventures in their company's life. When will people ever learn that just by adding Luigi, it'll make everything better? Ask Paper Mario. They got 2 Luigis. In any case, Superstar Saga truly shows so much emotion and care with every little animation, note that's played, and every bit of dialogue that was spoken. The story is unique and not too complicated while also straying away, most of the time, from the usual Mario formula. Gameplay is simple yet engrossing for a lot of people, tossing in new gimmicks and abilities to still make it feel fresh, and the visuals and music still hold up to this day. Remember that this was a handheld game released on the GBA in 2003. I feel like that speaks volumes in some way, you know? It felt nice to go back to this gem and experience the start of it all, watching the seed be planted for what would soon become a great tree of a franchise. If you haven't played a Mario and Luigi game yet, and you have some spare change and a 3DS lying around, I would highly suggest picking up Superstar Saga DX. Or, if you have the expansion pass for Nintendo Online, you can play the OG right there. The only thing about the remake is just Bowser's Minions' existence. I'm sorry, this was just really not good. But no matter what version you play, Superstar Saga still remains as one of the best Mario RPGs ever and will continue to be so for a very long time. With that said, I'm happy to give Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and Superstar Saga DX an astounding 9.5 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. This is just the beginning of a very long adventure, and I hope all of you will join me. Please? I'm not begging, but it'd be really nice. You probably noticed the new look I have, and this was done by my amazing friend, Digital Nova Arts. If you're watching this, man, thank you so much, and for everyone else watching, go support him on his Twitter. Bro is an amazing artist and deserves every bit of support. Next up, we're going back in time to the second Mario and Luigi game to get babies off the menu, because the next game is Mario and Luigi Partners in Time for the DS, a sequel that came out only 2 years after Superstar Saga. How does this game hold up? Is it better than the first? We'll have to wait and find out. As always, everyone, my name is Shade Midnight. Stay safe and stay fresh.